All right, good afternoon. My name is Sam Dubois.
I'm Grant Kerrigan.
Today we are going to be going over our senior project design. We had the wonderful opportunity of working with the UNL Department of Classics and Religious Studies, working on retooling their Aphelios language tools. So with that, getting into it, like I said, our sponsor was the UNL Department of Classics and Religious Studies. And basically what they came to us was they had a tool that was going out of date. The dependencies that they used to rely on were starting to slowly diminish. So what they wanted us was to update the project and basically make it last for as long as it possibly could. Here are our sponsors. We have the project owner of Robert Gorman and his wife Vanessa, our technical expert of Bridget Alms, and then Harry Dykoff, and then the department chair of Ann Duncan. For our stakeholders, we have our project manager of Roland Mahadiam, and then our tribe leader of Guviander Sahi, and then our coach Bradley Hickens. And then finally, with the student design team itself, once again, we have Grant Kerrigan, Sam Dubois, then Amjad Ahmed, Ala Ismail, and then Connor Rotz.
Yeah, so a little bit about the problem that we faced and the opportunity that those problems gave us. So a main thing that was wrong with the previous version of this was dependency rot. So this essentially means that the dependencies that the application relied on to do its tasks well and properly and the same every time were going out. And so that means that the application would be faulty and it would not allow the user to do exactly what they would expect to do every time. So the opportunity that gave us was to build using minimal dependency architecture. So we built using vanilla JavaScript. So this means that because JavaScript is just so widely used, its updates are very safe and things don't need to be updated as often, and it allows for the application to just keep running without needing to be updated using all of those separate dependencies and keeping track of those separate dependencies. Another problem with the application was there was minimal longevity. This goes in with the dependency rot. There was just very little plans for keeping it afloat after it would eventually go out with the dependencies issues. This allowed us to have future-proof design. So UNL now owns this software. They own the repository. So that means that these configurable sources that we've put in will continue to be able to be updated by UNL and not just have to hope that some other entity will continue doing updates that's best for UNL. Next is unfriendly user interface. So there were some issues that were brought to our attention. One of them was to edit XML within the application itself, you would have to leave and it would take a ton of different steps to get there. And so this gave us the opportunity to add that functionality into the application itself and allow for the user to save a lot of time when they do need to do certain functions, such as edit XML directly. We also added on-screen keyboards to allow for accessibility and table view function also for accessibility, so that way if somebody's looking at this, they can do text-to-speech and that will work. A little bit about our solution. So this is our overview and input page. Just to look a little bit into it, you have the ability to paste or upload text of select languages, either as plain text or as treebank XML. Next, we have multiple tag sets. So that's the annotation format drop-down menu. And that allows a user to have different rules for tree banking. So certain languages, some people disagree on how the rules should be dictated. So that allows for openness on that. Next is custom tokenization. So there's a default tokenizer, but in theme with wanting to keep dependency as minimum as possible, you also have the ability to enter a custom tokenizer. So if the main one ever goes down for any reason, you can always input another one. And then next is compare mode. And this is just the ability for a teacher to compare their tree, which is 100% correct, to student trees and get an understanding of how the student was doing in that. Next is the brunt of what we developed. So this is the editor page. So this features an interactive D3 tree. D3 is one of the few dependencies that we had. This is a dependency that allows the building of these graphical trees that can be edited and moved. And so that was a no-brainer to use. That's something that the previous version had been using, but there was no sign of that being a weak link in the dependency rot. Next is the morphology editor. So this is just one of the most important parts of the application is you need to have the ability to change the morphology of words. All of this is just very crucial in having an application that actually does dependency tree banking. Next is the XML editor. This is kind of what we had talked about earlier. It's this live in-app ability to edit XML instead of leaving the page and saving it and, oh, I made a mistake, I have to go back out, switching tabs all over and over. And then last is local save. So this application is completely local. There's no uploading of your trees anywhere. It's purely done on your machine. And lastly is the tree bank comparison page. So this is what a teacher would use to grade their students' trees. So the features of this are it highlights inconsistencies that appear. So whether it's like the real position of where the word is located on the tree, whether it's the relation tag, whether it's the morphology tag, or whether it's just the whole word itself, they have different ways of showing that that is incorrect, that the student can look at to know what they need to do to continue grading themselves. Next is file grading. So there's this table at the bottom left, and that goes through and compares all of the XML against each other, and it shows the teacher what percentage of things were correct and gives them a grade on what the student did. And next is sentence selection. That's that bottom thing with the green and the red squares. And so that shows all of the trees that exist within the given assignment. And so it will display as green if everything is correct in the student's work, and it'll display as red if there's any inconsistencies. And it allows the teacher to click on that and then kind of scrutinize what exactly is wrong without only looking at the percentages. So the value and the highlights that were gained from this application and the development of it and the work with the sponsors. So this product remains open source. And enhanced functionality will be an enhanced legacy functionality with reliable and modern dependencies. So we took the existing version and we kept it familiar, but we also added upgrades and fixed things that the sponsors wanted fixed. And then next is the product has been incorporated in annotation and gold standard functionality. So gold standard was kind of, it seemed like a out of scope thing at the beginning of the project, and we were able to get that completed, and so the professors can continue to grade using the same application. What the senior design team learned is we effectively learned how to incorporate product and feedback into the application, especially with a product like this where it's very kind of esoteric and you need to kind of get into the weeds to understand it. It's really important to get the feedback from the people who really know what's going on, and this was very helpful in that. It helped us learn how to run informal and formal sponsor meetings, how to minimize technical dependencies, and the value of team collaboration. Thank you very much to the sponsors and to our coach and just to everybody involved, the faculty as well.